Hello, everyone. I'm back. Technology. I hope that you can hear me now. Can you maybe write on the chat if you can hear me now? And so happy to be here. I just want to connect with you guys, share what's going on, and tell you a little bit of what our view from the PSYCH-K perspective is in all these very interesting times that we're experiencing. So I just need somebody on the chat to let me know that you can hear me. Yes? Cool. Thank you. So we already have about 21 people joining us. We're expecting, we have 250 registered. We'll see how many are able to make it. And if not, we'll have the recording for those of you who can't join us. So thank you. Thank you so much. Some of you may know me from the PSYCH-K world. I am a PSYCH-K instructor since 2010. Very happy to be able to share what PSYCH-K means to us and to humanity. Some of you may not, and you will find out today what PSYCH-K is and how we can use it to create a new normal using our subconscious mind as our ally to do this. So thank you. Thank you for joining us. And if you can share where you're joining us from, we'll be very happy to learn where you are today and what motivated you to come see us. And we're going to wait a couple minutes before we start our presentation. And if you have questions throughout, please write them on the chat. My beautiful daughter, Valentina, is going to be taking care of writing those somewhere so that I can see them later when we finish. Because once I start the presentation, I won't be able to see you. So hello, Joe from Phoenix. Hi, Vimal from India. How cool. So many people. We just finished a little bit ago, the one in Spanish. We had like 250 people joining us from all over Latin America, and that was fun too. Long Island, hi Virginia, seen you over there on the Facebook group sometimes. Croatia, Mariana, nice. Egypt, hi Hisham, how are you doing today? On the other side of the world. Okay, cool. Marco from the UK, nice. Okay, so I am in Colombia today. I've been here since mid-March, since this lockdown started, joining here with my kids, which has been quite the experience. Very, very fun, and a lot of learnings, a lot of lessons, and that's what we want to share with you today. So let's get started. So once I start the presentation, I won't be able to see what you're posting, but I am going to make sure to see it once we're done. The presentation is going to take about 30 minutes, and then we can answer questions about any doubts or inquiries that you would like to make about the PSYCH-K world. Okay, here we go. So in the PSYCH-K world, we have something that we call the principles of nature, and the principles of nature to us are essential as the path back to our essence. And this month we are honoring our effective use of resources, and that's why we wanted to use this presentation to talk about those resources that we have within. And sometimes we forget that they're there and we're waiting for the answers outside. And always the invitation in PSYCH-K is to look inside, to go back to us, because that wisdom is already there. Before we start, well, we already said that you can write your questions on the chat. And if for any reason we do not get to those questions, you can write to us at aloha@martavargas.org. We'll be very happy to answer them. And a little bit about me. I am a certified PSYCH-K instructor. PSYCH-K found me in 2009 through Bruce Lipton's book. And I just knew that I needed to go find out how this was going to transform my life. So I went from Colombia to Philly and took my basic then, and then because I've been a little bit intense and I had such a feeling about this, I got on an airplane the next day, went to Denver, did my advanced. And then I really don't understand how this happened. About 7-8 months later, I became the first certified instructor in Latin America. And it's been such a journey to be able to accompany so many people who are ready to take responsibility of your life and change it for the better, to change it from within, and understand that we are co-creators of this life, that life is not happening outside. The life, that reality that we see is actually coming from within. And all that we do in Psych-K is the idea that you can find this balanced life, that you can see that abundance and well-being and happiness are already there. And it's not something that we need to create, it's something that we need to remember. So what are we going to do today? We're going to talk a little bit about the feelings that are coming up with this current situation that we are all experiencing worldwide. Then we're going to talk about the inner resources we have to face those challenges in the light of this, and the limiting beliefs that we've been experiencing through this, and how we can transform that into self-expansing beliefs using Psych-K, and how that subconscious mind can become that amazing ally, that best friend that help us get to where we want to go. So let's talk about a little bit about what we've learned. And here, if you have some paper and a pencil or pen, and you can start writing down, just jotting down some ideas of what is it that we've learned in this situation. What areas of your life you find that have improved, because we focus sometimes so much in the negative and what we don't have right now. So if I were to talk about my own experience, these weeks here at home, which I usually am not. I travel a lot, and I spend a lot of my time in Florida as well. So this time here in Colombia with my kids, I've found a new love for cooking. And I have actually found that I can be very creative in the kitchen, and it's become my meditation time. I don't meditate as such because I do my Psych-K balances, but that time in the kitchen makes me be very present with what I'm doing, and how can I be more creative, and how I can transfer that creativity to other areas of my life as well. What areas are staying the same? Well, I'm still able to contact the people who have taken the workshops with me, give them support. I'm some of the things that I had waited and postponed because I was traveling, I'm able to do those. I'm translating the book that I wrote in Spanish into English, and we're also doing some recordings of that so that we can make it an audiobook. So those things are the same. They're just in different schedules maybe during the day, and in a very, very productive way. If I can talk about the areas in my life that I would say that are limited or negatively affected, sure, I would love to be able to be out there teaching. I enjoy so much sharing with people and connecting with the people that come to Psych-K are people that are so ready to transform their lives, and they make my life better. And for sure, I would love to do that. And I'm sure that at some point I'm going to be able to do that. But yeah, I can see how some days, or sometimes during the day, I feel these waves of impotence, of hoping that things would be different. So make your own list. What else have you discovered also that we can do in more effective ways? And I think this is something that we're seeing in many different areas of life, people in businesses, people that used to go out all the time, and finding that there's so much that we can do from home, and that when we're doing this from home, it's actually more effective. And I was having a conversation about this with a friend of mine who manages a company, and he says, these changes in my company are here to stay. And I'm inviting my employees to understand that. And I thought that was so beautiful, because I don't think I would have heard him say that 4 weeks ago. So this invitation of the situation to actually look at our lives and see it in different light is very, very interesting. The other things that we can consider as the lessons in this situation is, what is it that is truly essential in our lives? And what are those things that I really do not need at all anymore? Things that in the last 4 weeks I may have not used or not needed to do, or when I go to the supermarket, I'm really buying what's essential and being more aware of, I bring home what I really need and I leave for other families things that may go to waste. How to be more conscious and more aware of what really those material things, or those emotional things also, or those areas of our life. Oh, but I have to go to the gym every day. So now you can't. How are you dealing with that? What creativity comes up that allows you to do exercise in different ways? That's been one of my benefits of this, I've recovered my discipline to be doing exercise almost daily. And the days that I don't feel like it, I just don't. I let it be without all these messages that we've been getting also that we all should be reading more, doing more exercise. No, we shouldn't. We are all experiencing this in different ways, and we have that right. We have the right to go through this in different ways, to see the lessons from our own filters, because we are all unique individuals. And this is also a beautiful lesson from this. We can go through this in compassion with ourselves, without comparing ourselves with others, just understanding that we're just different, and that is okay too. And that some days we may feel very optimistic and some days not. And this image here represents, maybe it's not one day to the next. Sometimes it's even within the same day. This has been my experience, especially in the last 2 days. And I felt this waves of anger and confusion and anxiety. And then I go back to my peace and my clarity. And yes, I know how to do PSYCH-K, and it's been a blessing to be able to transform those moments of stress or what beliefs are coming out. And I can use my tool to access my subconscious and have this be sustainable over time. Yet when it comes back up, the rage or the anxiety or the guilt, it's coming up from another place. And with PSYCH-K, I can find from where and transform it again into this place of curiosity or surrendering or understanding that there is a divine perfection in all this. With our conscious mind, we can see what's going on from this level, but we can't always see from the big picture. And that's where our wisdom is. That's where our whole resources are. And we're going to talk about now how stress doesn't allow us to access those resources. And this has been a moment of stress 24/7. We're getting bombarded by information from everywhere. Social media, the news. If you can have the news on 24/7, you must be going crazy. I chose 30 years ago not to watch the news, and I still get it, but in a different way. It's a modulated way. I get it softer. And it's a choice. What do I want to put into my environment, my inner, my mental environment? Now, before we go on, I would like to offer all of you attending today a couple of gifts. You can use them if you want. You don't have to. These are just things that I've found through life that help me do some of this self-observation and growing with myself. So the first thing is something we call the Circle of Harmony. We developed this some years ago when we created a program for 21 days of harmony with some yoga and some meditation and some creativity. And later we will post this so that you can download them. And if you can't download them here, then we'll send you a link where you can download them from. And this Circle of Harmony, when you download it, it's a PDF, and it's just a very simple idea that we have different areas of life. Sometimes we define ourselves, and this was me some time ago, I'm a golfer or I'm an executive, and we forget all these other areas of life that are happening all at the same time. So each area has a scale from 0 to 10, and 0 is, I feel I'm failing at this completely. This is not going anywhere. Or 10 is, I'm really feeling very, very good about this. So let's say your emotional health at this moment, you think, it's maybe about a 5. So you're going to put a little dot there where it says 5. And then you can move to the next one, mental health, and maybe that one you feel it's about 6. So you put it there. And then your life purpose, you have that super clear and you're working on it and it's right on track. So it's a 10, and you put a dot there. And then you go through the other ones. And then you connect those dots and you're going to get a graphic. And you can color the graphic inside and you'll see what areas are very good in your life and which are not, and which you can put more attention to them and use your tools, whatever they are. Or if you already do PSYCH-K, do your balances. If you don't, and you meditate, then meditate on that. If you have positive affirmations, I don't know. There's so many ways. This is just kind of like a map of where you are today. And if you print 3 or 4 of these, maybe in a week or a couple of weeks, you do another one, another evaluation of these, and see how it's changed. It's sometimes we need to see things in in black and white or in black and red, however colors you want to use. So this is an idea. Again, it's just a suggestion. If you like it, go ahead. The other thing is that we tend to expect new results by doing the same things. And that's the definition of insanity, according to Albert Einstein. Do more of the same and expect different results. So here are some ideas of trying to do something different, maybe once a day, maybe every 2 days. I don't know, you choose. This is your life. This is just, again, an experiment, like those that we used to do in the chemistry lab, which I loved. So how about if you do everything with your right hand, try writing or eating with your left hand for a little bit. See how that feels. And then try it again another day and see how it feels. Maybe look at yourself in the mirror and offer yourself a compliment of how you look today. We go through the mirror really fast. We don't look into our own eyes. We don't look into our own soul. It's quite the experience to look at yourself in the mirror. Or how about you turn on the music and you dance? We have this idea that dancing is if we go out, if there's a celebration. Dancing can be so therapeutic and so beautiful, to dance with yourself, to be your best dance partner. Lots of fun. I dance every morning when I'm getting ready, so try it out. Or maybe those things that you've said, I don't eat that, I don't like it. Give it a try, a little bit. See how you expand your mind and your inner experience by trying something different. Give yourself a hug, but one of these long hugs really felt really with you, or give yourself a short massage. I don't know, little gifts for yourself and see how it feels. So we'll share these PDFs later. And if you like it, do it. If you don't find this useful, no worries. So now we're going to talk about limiting beliefs. In our subconscious mind, we've been storing these beliefs, and your subconscious mind works like an autopilot. It manages at least 95% of what we do daily. So when you go into life and you start to hear yourself thinking or speaking, these beliefs are what coming up. In this moment, probably you hear yourself or a lot of people around you, I'm in fear. I'm just so scared of what's happening. I don't know where we're going with this. I may get this virus at any time. My family or the people who are out there who have these essential jobs, even though in my belief, we're all essential. Again, I'm not even going to go there. Just stop. The thing is that if you believe that you're going to get it, then you're going to get it, because your subconscious mind is that powerful. And our invitation with PSYCH-K is that if you can give your subconscious mind new information, imagine what would happen if you are in constant peace. Imagine what will happen if you feel that you have very strong immune system, that you can be confident that you're always going to be okay and the people you love are going to be okay. Then you're going to be creating more probabilities that is so. Another huge issue in this moment is I do not have enough money. My resources are going to run away, are going to run out. We're all just going to come out of this in a very bad place. And maybe we don't know how much longer this is going to be. And I can understand that there is some very, very tough situations, economic situations. I feel for those. And those are particular moments where I get very discouraged with this. We're all human. That if we can give our subconscious better information, say, okay, I always have enough resources, whatever it is. It may not be money, but the resources may come in different ways. Creativity, new ways of doing the job that you were doing. You will find a new occupation. Maybe you don't need to be employed anymore, and you find that you have all these gifts and talents that you have to share with the world. Like for me now, I can't teach, but I can do private sessions online, and I can offer mentoring to the people who have done PSYCH-K with me. And it's another way of staying occupied and of accompanying those people who are so committed to what we're doing. So there's always different ways. And yes, it can be more challenging to some of us and less for others. And these are just examples, because each of us, again, we're going through this in a different way. I find myself saying this, I can't go on like this. I need to get back to my life. And there may not be going back to that life. This is the reason why we've invited you today to consider a new normal. What is that new life that we are all going to create with each other? Because yes, we are in this all together. It's probably the first time in human history that the whole planet is focused in one thing. So if we can offer better information to that subconscious collective, then we're doing our part. If we keep feeding each other the limiting aspects of this situation, that's what we're feeding to the collective. Our part is to start feeding the expansive side of this, the creative side of this. How am I going to create this new life? Yes, there's a lot of people saying it's not as bad as it is. There's a lot of theories and ideas, and are they saying the truth or not? Our invitation in this is believe what gives you peace, and if it gives you peace, stay there. If you can communicate more peace to your environment, your family, your friends, that's our part. That's what we can do right now. There may be other things that we can't do, but if we can communicate expansiveness, optimism, joy, good jokes, anything, because this is like this image, this has been going around so much. If you are communicating over and over again to your subconscious mind that we're going to come out of this overweight, that's what's going to happen. What if we can communicate that from this, we're going to come out feeling better, eating better, having better eating habits, in more contact with what our body really needs, instead of we use social media to propagate all this information. What is the information that we can share, that it's good for all of us to share, so that we can be more conscious and more aware and still have fun? There's so much good humor going on also. So how about we make part of that? So these are just different examples, and it's not like one person thinks one way or the other. We have all this inside. We are that complex of beings. And like I said earlier, I may be feeling some of this in the morning and be feeling different in the afternoon. I may have one of those terrible days where I just can't imagine what's going to happen next. It's part of accepting our humanity. And in my belief today, my humanity is my bridge to my spirituality. It doesn't work the other way around. I know that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and honoring that human experience and everything that comes with it, every emotion, every sensation, every feeling that we're having, it's part of our spiritual path, which is different from being human looking to be spiritual. So once we understand all this, all these ideas, all these feelings are probably having us in a very, very high state of stress, chronic stress. If we had it from before, and this is just now adding up. And so many studies from doctors, from psychological studies. I'm not a doctor, but this is common knowledge that chronic stress creates all these effects in your system. Your immune system gets weakened. There's anxiety. We go into depression. Our stomachs don't digest well enough because we're just not digesting the emotions. We're not digesting what's going on. It's so evident. And we get headaches and we don't sleep well. And if we're in stress, our system needs to take energy from the systems within that have the most energy, which is usually the immune system and the digestion system. Our stress response was designed for short periods of time when we were in danger, like the tiger that was going to catch us. But the tiger goes away. But here in our culture, we have so many stressful factors going on. It's ongoing. So the levels of cortisol in your body are always, they're building up. And that's why our culture is so sick. So it's counterintuitive, but if you can be more in peace, if you can promote that peace, your immune system is going to get stronger from within, not from avoiding the virus. It's not about avoiding the virus. It's about understanding that you have all the necessary resources inside of you to be healthy, especially if you believe that at the subconscious level of mind. That's the difference. It's not about wanting to believe. Yes, that's a starting point. But we need to find a way to tell our subconscious mind that this is true, and then your subconscious mind will make it so in your reality. When we're in stress and we have these beliefs are the starting point. From beliefs, then you create attitudes, and from attitudes, you create your results. So if your belief right now is that your life is at risk, the attitude, the behavior is fearful. I'm going to avoid this. So I have to hide from this, and I have to protect myself, and I have to protect my family. And you go in protective mode. And when you go in protective mode, you're actually weakening your immune system. If you can change that from the top, I am safe, or I have a very healthy immune system, or I have an amazing body that responds to everything in the world in an amazing way. Whatever words you want to use, when we take those into the subconscious mind, instead of fear and stress, you're going to create an attitude of peace, of well-being, and your behavior is going to change. Then your immune system is going to respond because it has the energy to do so. That's the difference. It's not about wanting to do so. It's about believing to see, which is what we want to share with you of how we do this with PSYCH-K. How do we access that subconscious mind to change those beliefs, turn that chronic stress into peace, and create a new normal from within and not waiting to what's going to happen outside. How does it work? Well, PSYCH-K will help you rewrite that software. That software has been in your system. It started to be created since you were in your mommy's belly. Your subconscious mind from 0 to 7 is just receiving all the information. Everything becomes a subconscious belief. There's no filter because there's no conscious mind until we're about 6 or 7 that we can say, yeah, I can believe that or not. All that initial period of our life, everything became truth at the subconscious level of mind. What your father was saying, what mom was saying, what the media was saying. And now when it's so, the information is everywhere, your subconscious mind takes that and makes it true. What do we want with PSYCH-K? We want to show you a way to rewrite those programs, which are called processes that we call balances. When we do the balances, both your hemispheres are going to have the same information. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And from there, we get to what we call the whole brain state. When you're in whole brain state, your 2 hemispheres are working with you, your subconscious is working with you, and then we can change those limiting beliefs, give it new information, and the subconscious is going to say, oh, okay, I can take you there. There's a lot of processes nowadays that talk about beliefs, and they talk about we're going to change the belief. However, there's not one belief that you need to change. When we give new information to the subconscious mind actually searches in your inner files all the experiences, every moment throughout life that brought you to the point where you now believe that you're in fear. So many times, over and over again, when you were in utero, the day you were born, at 1, at 3, at 7, at 6, all those experiences are put in those files. So when you do PSYCH-K, the subconscious accesses those files and says, okay, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this anymore. Everything that is safe and appropriate to change now so that you can get to a state of peace, or that you can get to a state of believing that your body has all the necessary abilities to stay healthy, whatever it is that you want to change. And there's a beautiful way of applying that in PSYCH-K, which is very simple. And it's that perception of stress, because it's just a perception. Not everybody is experiencing this from fear. There's a lot of people experiencing this from peace, which comes to prove that it's just a perception. So if we have a perception of stress regarding a situation, a traumatic event of the past, maybe you went through a divorce, maybe you somebody died in your family when you were very young, a pet, or you were abused, all those traumatic events are in your subconscious mind. And you're keeping that energy instead of being able to access that same energy to create peace and joy. So we help you transform that into a state of peace. These processes take between 2 to 5 minutes, very simple. And then when we finish, we are in what we call the whole brain state, where both your hemispheres are at your service. When we're in stress, we go through life with half a brain because your hemispheres are connecting through something called the corpus callosum, which is a huge band of tons and tons and millions of neurons, bringing information from one side to the other. This comes from the split brain research. But when we're in stress, that highway, let's say, that highway of information, it's like there's too much there, and it becomes blocked. So you can't access the information from one side to the other. You may have heard of something called paralysis by analysis. You're so much in your left hemisphere that you can't access the creativity on your right hemisphere. You're doing that with half a brain. Or the other way around, if you're so much in fear, like for example, you're going to take a test, and we have learned to be afraid of tests. Then you take the test with the wrong hemisphere. You take it with the right one, where you studied with the left one. So imagine all those situations changing if you can be whole-brained, if you can have both your hemispheres working for you at the same time. Then you can maximize your total response potential, and you can access all those resources that are already there. These resources don't need to be created. They're there. They're your birthright. They're yours. They're your gift and talents. And that's what we want to help you do with PSYCH-K. The more PSYCH-K we do, the more whole brain we are. Life is going to present us with challenges. This is not some kind of magic wand. Oh, I do one time and then I'm done. No, I've been doing PSYCH-K for 10 years. I do PSYCH-K every day because life happens every day. Not over the same thing. It's just looking at things from different perspectives, from different aspects of what's coming up. I may have done some balances some years ago. My dad died when I was 5, and I thought that I had solved that. I did so many things from my conscious mind, and I went to the shamans and the gurus, and all the list of things that I did was so long, and I thought it was solved. But then when I got to PSYCH-K, I found out that it was all there. The trauma of that event was all there. So I did my balances, and I found so much joy and so much peace, and it was beautiful. And then 9 years later, in a conversation or an experience, another layer of that comes up, and then I'm ready to look at that again in a different way and from a higher level of consciousness. That happens. Life is like a spiral that starts to go up. So that's the brain side of this, but we need to consider the mind, which is not the brain, which is completely different. So the mind, we're going to use the example of the iceberg to understand this. The conscious mind takes care of about 5% of all that you do daily. You set your goals with your conscious mind. You went to school with your conscious mind. Your abilities are your conscious mind. We read the books, all the self-help books. I have a long list of those. We read those with the conscious mind, and it's very important. And below the level of consciousness is your subconscious mind, which is like this huge room where we've stored all our values, our attitudes, the beliefs that we learn from our culture. All our system is in there, our behavioral patterns. And it's like an automatic pilot that is taking care of so many things that your conscious mind can't take care of. So that's at least 95% of what you do daily. Then your conscious mind processes information like one of those old computers. It's a level of mind that it's very slow, a little bit lazy, because it can only process information at 40 bits of information per second. So think of that like having a goal and getting to go there on a bicycle, uphill. And it's very hot. And at some point you have to get off the bicycle to get there. We may get there. Yes, I did a lot of conscious mind goals, and I got there. I was a competitive golfer for a long time in my life, and we learned all these things about affirmations and visualization and positive mind, and I did a lot of that, and it worked. However, it took a lot of effort, and then it would stop working. So when we involve that other level of mind, which is the subconscious mind processes information at 40 million bits per second. It's like getting on a fast speed train and going to your goal. Simple, fast, easy, comfortable. So when we can tell the subconscious mind, this is where my conscious mind wants to go. I want to be able to believe at the subconscious level of mind that my body is able to heal itself, that my body is strong, that my body is healthy. Then the subconscious mind says, okay, I can take you there. But then there's also another level of mind that we consider in Psych-K, which is very, very important, and is your inner wisdom. It's your intuition, it's your connection to the source, your divine self, whatever it is that you want to call it. We all have that part of us. And in Psych-K, we access that side of us to make sure that what we want to achieve is safe and appropriate. It's the moment to do that change. And that's a huge difference with everything else that I did before, because it's not the facilitator guiding the process. It's the partner who is in charge of recovering their own power. And that is very liberating for the facilitator, and very, this is why we say that it requires responsibility to do Psych-K. You need to be able to say, I don't want to be the victim anymore. I want to start taking responsibility to create my own life. And I was sharing some information with the facilitators of something that Rob said that he's found very important to share in this moment of human evolution. And this comes from his book, Psych-K, The Missing Piece in Your Life. And the dedication of the book says, may you recognize your divinity, discover your greatness, and become the peace you seek. And this is the essence of what we do. When you recognize that you are a spiritual being doing this human experience, and you remember that, then you know that you have a purpose, higher purpose than you ever thought, that you're important, and that you have that greatness within you, that you just have to remember it's there, and then be all that peace, all that peace that we looked up for outside. That's what I did for years, looking for my peace outside, and it wasn't there. It was inside of me, and that's one of the greatest gifts of Psych-K in my life. So this is what we wanted to share. This is how we access those inner resources. This is a list of the things that I find within me. You may have your own list. When we can access these levels of compassion, of gratitude, these are very high frequency emotions and sensations. And viruses don't vibrate at that high level. So you can't get anything when you're vibrating in love, in creativity, in generosity. So what are those resources? Make your own list, access them. Again, if you have your own way to access them, wonderful. If you feel that Psych-K is a way to access those resources, then we're here to support you. And we want to support you also through the principles of nature, because for us in Psych-K, Mother Nature is our guide. She has the original instructions, and this is part of what we share in the basic workshop. How can we interiorize billions of years of wisdom in a few minutes? And there's 11 of these principles, like adaptability, the respect for diversity, effective use of resources, which is our theme of today, timing, collaboration, some 11 that are our guiding system for creating a new normal, creating a better life, creating a better version of us from within. So if this is of interest, you can look for our workshops on my website, which is martavargas.org, and I can ask Valentina to write it down there in your chat. We're going to resume our workshops as soon as the situation is solved. The next workshop I'm going to be teaching is programmed to be in Mexico, and then I will probably be in Miami at the end of July, and we have others in Colombia and Costa Rica. And if you're in other places, go to psych-k.com. My beautiful fellow instructors teach all over the world. There's so many options. Sometimes we're waiting for the workshop to come to me. I went to the States because I felt this. It was like a calling, and Psych-K is going to find you when you're ready. So if this is for you, we'll see you there. We're not offering this to convince anybody. We're offering this to make it visible, to explain why Psych-K is different. And for now, also those of you who are not ready for workshops, or we can't be there yet, you can also book a private session, which can be in person sometime in the future. For now, we're doing online sessions or phone sessions. There's many facilitators listed on my page. There's many facilitators listed on the Psych-K website as well. And anything you need, you can either go to our website or write us, and we're here to support you. Okay, that was it. That was what we wanted to share with you. I hope this has been useful. I hope this gives you some ideas of how to do things differently, how to think, feel, and experience life in a different way. And I'm going to go through the comments and see what's there. Oh, and I'm also going to share the files in a little bit so that you can download them. Let's see. So, Elizabeth, belief statements that can be used for sleep problems. Well, belief statements in PSYCH-K, they're always going to be designed by the partner. What is it that you want to experience? How do you want to experience that instead of saying, I can't sleep? What do you want? If I give you my words, they may not be as powerful as your own. So you can find what is your new experience. And if you already know how to do PSYCH-K, do your balances, or do transformation of stress to peace. If you don't know how to do it, book a session. We're very happy to support you. Okay, let's see what else is here. Any other questions that you may have at this moment? Will there be a replay? Yes, we will send you the link to the replay. We're also going to upload this to YouTube and to our Facebook page so you can watch it there. Okay, Valentina, if you can let me know if there were other questions that I'm missing. And if in the meantime, I'm going to share the files. You just have to click on what showed up on your screen and download them and print them and use them as you would like to. Okay, Marco's asking if the subconscious works and understands any language. Yes, the subconscious understands any language. When I went to do PSYCH-K, I did it in English. I do find sometimes that statements, I can feel them more clearly in Spanish, and sometimes there's statements that the word in English is just the perfect word. So it's whatever works for you. Okay. Okay. Are we complete? Anything else? That's all? Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up in this world at this very important moment of human evolution, and be very happy. Hope to see you in person someday, somewhere. Bye.